Sudarshan Chakra mission to modernize India's national security system, a task force to expedite reforms, GST reforms, more push for Swadeshi and Atmanirbharta, and the need to stay alert in turbulent world of geopolitics. Also a scheme centered around employment, the fight against infiltration, obesity, and also emphasis on fitness. Several important takeaways from the Prime Minister's Independence Day speech today. In fact, he also hailed the RSS. He said that he's proud of the RSS history. He's also said that the RSS is the largest NGO that works on nation building across the world. The Prime Minister has also said that there will be a new mission that will be put in place, a security shield of the country that will massively expand. In the next 10 years, by 2025, all of India's most important places that are critical to public infrastructure will become part of the Rashtra Suraksha Kavach. That's what he said, to ensure that every Indian citizen feels safe at all times. The Prime Minister was addressing the nation on its 79th Independence Day. He talked about the importance of self-reliant India, Atmanirbharta, and also how it was crucial to the success of India's Operation Sindoor. He also said that it's time to move forward with confidence in our capabilities and that we need to take pride in Swadeshi, not because of lack of options, but because it's our strength. But let's discuss his comments on the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. Remember that Prime Minister Modi himself was a Prasharak and he was closely associated with the RSS. Today he has hailed the role of the RSS in nation building. The Congress has hit back. It has hit out at the Prime Minister, saying that the RSS had no role to play in the freedom struggle. Joining me now is Dr. Anand Ranganathan, who's a best-selling author. He's also a scientist. We have Abhijit Iyer Mitra, who's a defense expert, also a political analyst. We have Air Marshal Sanjeev Kapoor. Thank you, sir, for joining us on this broadcast. Abhijit, let me take this question to you. What did you think of the Prime Minister praising the RSS in his Independence Day speech today at the Red Fort?
I almost expected it because, you know, it wasn't the, despite what everyone says, India Shining didn't lose Atal Bihari Vajpayee the 2004 election, just as it was the RSS not being part of the 2024 campaign that resulted in the government not getting an absolute majority. So, you know, sure, the BJP might have 30 workers to every one RSS worker, but that one RSS worker is worth about 100 BJP workers, at least in terms of their, you know, their moral authority and things like that, and the votes they bring on the ground. As well as, you know, the RSS almost functions like, say, the intelligence bureau and the RAW for the BJP in that sense, politically. So I think it is part of that process that started with Haryana, went on to Maharashtra, the rebuilding of bridges with the RSS after requesting a divorce. And I think it had to be done at some point. You remember what JP Nadda had said before the 2024 election, humko zarurat nahi hai RSS ki. This is coming from a much higher authority saying humko bahut zarurat hai RSS ki.
So a little bit of course correction and also damage control. That's a very valid point. Also, let's listen in to what the Prime Minister said before I tell you how the Congress party has reacted to this.
आज से 100 साल पहले एक संगठन का जन्म हुआ, राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ। 100 साल की राष्ट्र की सेवा एक बहुत ही गौरवपूर्ण स्वर्णिम पृष्ठ है। व्यक्ति निर्माण से राष्ट्र निर्माण के संकल्प को लेकर के 100 साल तक मां भारती का कल्याण का लक्ष्य लेकर के लक्षावधि स्वयंसेवकों ने मातृभूमि के कल्याण के लिए अपना जीवन समर्पित किया है। सेवा, समर्पण, संगठन और अप्रतिम अनुशासन, ये जिसकी पहचान रही है, ऐसा राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ दुनिया का ये सबसे बड़ा एनजीओ है। एक प्रकार से देश गर्व करता है राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ की इस 100 साल की भव्य समर्पित यात्रा को, और हमें प्रेरणा देता रहेगा।
Well, Tehseen Poonawalla also joins us. He's a political analyst. Tehseen, what did you think of the Prime Minister's mention of the RSS today? Abhijit says that he almost expected it, and these are interesting times for the BJP as well. How is the Congress party going to look at this? Because Manikam Tagore, Congress MP from Viruddhanagar, has already reacted to this, saying that the RSS did not do anything for the freedom of the country.
Thank you so much once again for having me on the show. Yes, I did think that Abhijit is right that the Prime Minister would bring this in. But look, here, this is about India's independence, right? So why bring in your personal family issues on the Red Fort? It's almost as if you're trying to say, listen, JP Naddaji's made an error and we couldn't have won Maharashtra and Haryana without you. So listen, we will have the president elections. We want Naddaji to continue till Bihar elections get over. And then we will work it out, whoever Bhagwat ji says and whoever the Prime Minister then and Amit Shah ji then want to become the president. This is playing out in public domain. And I don't think this is the occasion. I have nothing against what the Prime Minister's organization that he's come from. But this is not the occasion to do that. This is our Independence Day. And yes, the RSS had a role. There will be some names Anand will throw, which is from a book that has come in, which the book is absolutely fake. And those names I will expose. They were from different organizations. However, the RSS had no role in India's freedom struggle, period. Now you can say that they worked here. You can say that they did some activities. You can say that they did ditch Gandhiji in the Quit India movement. That's not what we're debating. Today is a happy day. It is Independence Day. This organization didn't have a role. What they did, hence that is later. But again, it is about trying to make present bridges. The question is, Mohan Bhagwat ji made a statement that beyond 75, nobody should continue on any important post. Mohan Bhagwat ji turned 75 in the few days before the Honorable Prime Minister turned 75. I, for one, have no illusions or delusions. I believe the Prime Minister will not just continue to 2029, he will be the face of the BJP in 2029. The current battle is about who's going to be the BJP president, and that's fine. You can play that battle at Nagpur or Delhi, at Jhandewala or at the RSS headquarters. It doesn't have to be at the Red Fort. It is not the occasion. It is not the place to do it. And I don't think that my Prime Minister should be playing out. It's almost as if saying the Congress will play out the internal politics on the Red Fort if there's a Congress Prime Minister who's in the CWC. That's
right.
not how it's done.
Okay.
I take objection to this.
Okay, Dr. Ranganathan, every time this debate, it becomes about Mahatma Gandhi, right? That it's the ideology that killed Mahatma Gandhi, and that's what Rahul Gandhi also talks about. Do you agree with Tehseen when he says that it was inappropriate for the Prime Minister to talk about RSS history on a platform like this today?
Absolutely not. And my only regret is that he should have talked much more about it and with much more clarity, which, with your permission, I'm going to do here. But Abhijit is right, and Tehseen can disagree with Abhijit. We're all good friends. And incidentally, what Tehseen called fake is the PhD thesis of Dr. Ratan Sharda, who's got a degree on RSS. So he can take his disagreements with him, who's also a good friend of Tehseen. I don't want to talk about the politics that Abhijit rightly talked about, the importance of mentioning RSS as well as the political entity of BJP. I don't want to concern. I want to go a little bit deeper beyond the layer of just the mention of RSS. Now, if you go to the RSS website, rss.org, anybody can do it. You look at the mission of RSS on which it was founded. It is written verbatim in quotes, and it says this. I'm paraphrasing right now, but this is what it says. Hinduism is the life breath of Hindustan. If Hindustan is to be protected, Hinduism has to be protected. So that is the mission of RSS. Now, this is where I want to come in. And one of the things that I welcome about RSS, and I have a lot of friends on RSS, is that they welcome criticism and introspection. I'm afraid RSS has become weak. Is it protecting Hinduism? I have written a book on this, that Hindus are being actively discriminated in this country, constitutionally, legally, socially, educationally. When you have 700,000 Hindus who've been exiled and removed from their native place, not been able to go there for 33 years. When you have Places of Worship Act that bars Hindus to reclaim thousands of their demolished places. When you have right to education in conjunction with the 93rd Amendment that is putting the obligation of reserving economically weaker section seats only on Hindu-run schools, forcing thousands of Hindu-run schools to shut down and Muslim and Christian-run schools prospering. When you have the Waqf Act that continues to sequester lakhs of acres of Hindu lands, even temple lands, when you have constitutional amendments that are favoring other religions as opposed to Hinduism, how is Hinduism being protected? And the fact RSS has to realize it has to primarily fight to remove discrimination against Hindus, only then can Hindustan be saved.
Can I make a point?
Tehseen, would you like to respond to that? Because, also I do feel like Anand is also saying that maybe the Prime Minister was trying to challenge this narrative that there were other people involved in the freedom struggle and not just the ones that we have read about.
Definitely not RSS. Definitely not RSS. Not only did they stab Mahatma Gandhi in the back. If I say what Gandhi said in his last meeting with Golwalkar ji, I mean, that's a whole history. I don't even want to go there. The kind of hate speeches he made, right? That's not our topic. This is not the occasion. Let me come to what Anand said, and I agree with what Anand says. Anand will be surprised. I totally agree with him. There are changes that we need to do. POW Act, Waqf Act, etc., etc., etc.
Temples under control.
Temples. Now, temples should be made free, right? Who's to bring in the legislation? I don't like RSS, right? I'm coming from a spot where I don't like RSS. Is RSS going to bring in the legislation, or is the BJP going to bring in the legislation? Let me ask you that. The Waqf Act. The Waqf Act not only should have, if what Anand said, the Waqf Act should have been scrapped. Instead of the Waqf Act being scrapped, the new bill that's come in actually allows for whatever land has been taken off to not go retrospectively into and claim it back. So look, it's very easy to blame other people, but when you're in government, the day Tehseen is in government, the buck will stop at me. And my first legislation will be kick out 50% IAS officers. You can't blame NGOs for that. Now, let me ask you one simple thing today. We see our nation next door being run by an NGO, Bangladesh. And I'm telling you, the next terror attack in India will happen from Bangladesh. It is the most radicalized country in the world. We are seeing, and the Prime Minister spoke to it, how Hindus are being treated in Bangladesh. I'm asking you today, this is not Congress or any other party. This is this government, and we're all standing by the government. Why aren't you doing something? It's been over a year. Abhijit, Anand and I have been on repeated shows warning about what's happening. The government has no interest in trying to protect Hindus in Bangladesh. And NGOs running Bangladesh, which is clueless. We're going to have a multi-front war. The air chief has alluded to it. The army chief has alluded to it. It's not just China and Pakistan. Bangladesh is going to be involved in that.
Abhijit, respond to that, because I do feel that the Prime Minister talking about the RSS today, do you see this as ownership? Do you see this as endorsement? How do you see this?
Well, it is. It's not endorsement. I think it is reverence, because the RSS is the parent organization. Yeah. But I find this argument that somehow that this is the philosophy that led to the killing of Mahatma Gandhi to be completely facetious, and I'll tell you why. And just because Nathuram Godse was in the RSS at one point of time.
So that Hedgewar was also part of the Congress at some point, right?
He was, right. But understand, Jinnah was also part of the Congress. So is Pakistan a creation of the Congress then? That is one argument you can make. So,
quit the RSS.
And Nathuram quit the RSS. They say he didn't, but he quit. I mean, it's
because he didn't think that RSS was militant enough, right?
He didn't, exactly, right. So his whole problem with the RSS was that it was not militant enough.
Yes.
And remember, this is also the same Mahatma Gandhi that radicalized many people. Jinnah was radicalized because Mahatma Gandhi came and he wanted to start Satyagraha. He said this was political anarchy, so Jinnah left. Subhash Chandra Bose's presidency of the Congress was sabotaged and destroyed by Mohandas Karamchand, and then he left and started the Indian National Army, which is a violent counter-reaction to the British occupation of India, right? So that is number one.
But Abhijit, do you think that the Congress and the RSS are also very similar in some ways, because there are different kinds of people in both these organizations, and I've seen that everybody has a very varying level of ideological affiliation. Some people can be more extreme than the others.
RSS has people who love India, so maybe that's...
Okay, so...
Look, I think... Look,
so is it a problem with understanding the RSS?
I think the RSS and the Congress were differentially but similarly on the same page at one point of time. I think today the Congress has strayed very far from its founding ideals. Had you asked me about 12, 13 years back, I would have happily voted for the Congress. In fact, I voted for the Congress many times. Yes. In the 2009 election, or was it the 8 election, 9 election, I voted for the Congress because of my sheer anger at the BJP for opposing the nuclear agreement with America, right? And spreading falsehoods about that particular agreement, which was spearheaded by Yashwant Sinha, and we don't need to get into which party Mr. Yashwant Sinha is in today. Today, I find it impossible to bring myself to even get my finger anywhere near that Congress symbol on the voting machine. You have alienated somebody like me, who used to be a fairly, till a few years back, I would have said I would have voted more for the Congress than I had for the BJP. I was always a swing voter. Today, it is inconceivable for me to vote for the Congress. See, when you have a big tent party, you need to appeal to all the people all the time, or at least all the people some of the time.
Right.
Here, it is actively alienating all the people all the time. You can't win elections this way.
Okay. Dr. Ranganathan.
Very quick point about Tehseen saying RSS stabbed Mahatma Gandhi in the back, grandiose statements. By virtue of that being the logic.
So maybe it's an ideology, Dr. Ranganathan. That's what maybe it's not the person and the ideology that they're talking about.
Right, but I mean it's very confusing, because what was RSS's ideology? I gave you the mission. There's absolutely nothing wrong in the mission. In fact, I want RSS to hold true to that mission. But coming back to the logic of Tehseen made, nobody has disagreed vehemently, I would even use the word violently, with Mahatma Gandhi than Dr. Ambedkar. By that logic, one should be critical of Dr. Ambedkar as well. And you had, just I think 2 days ago, people saying that, well, Congress had freedom fighters, and the hallmark of freedom fighter is that you went to jail. How many of RSS leaders? Well, I want to ask Tehseen, did Dr. Ambedkar ever go to jail during British times? So by that logic, is he a freedom fighter?
Tehseen, respond to that, please. Yeah.
Again, I am not saying that the RSS ideology killed Gandhi. That is words put, and I have not said this on the show. I am saying that there were differences between great men, including they could be between Hegdewarji, Golwalkarji, and Gandhi. There's nothing wrong in having differences. Anand and I have a difference.
Okay.
But if tomorrow
Tehseen, I'm sorry interrupting you. There is a reaction from Akhilesh Yadav, former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. He has also taken on the Prime Minister now. He has criticized his speech, and he has said that RSS path is neither secular nor socialist. These people talk about Swadeshi, but they are not Swadeshi at heart. That's what he has said. Let's listen in.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रधानमंत्री जी हैं, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जब पहला अधिवेशन हुआ था, भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने तय किया था कि सेकुलर एंड सोशलिस्ट रास्ता अपनाएंगे, लेकिन संघ का और उनके परिवार के लोगों का जो संघ परिवार है उसका रास्ता सेकुलर और सोशलिस्ट नहीं है। ये मुंह से तो हैं स्वदेशी, लेकिन मन से नहीं, मन से विदेशी हैं।
Tehseen, I'm coming to you, but Dr. Ranganathan, now Akhilesh Yadav saying that BJP, or for that matter RSS, is neither secular nor socialist.
नहीं, मतलब देखिए, बोलने में तो क्या ना सर ना पैर, जिसका मन आया बोल दिया. Now they're talking about वो secular नहीं है. क्या ये secularism का मतलब क्या होता है? Definition होती है secularism की, there has to be a complete distinction between the church and the state. The religion cannot interfere in matters of the state and vice versa. यहाँ पे आपने state ने more than a lakh हिंदू टेम्पल्स कंट्रोल किया हुआ है. आप मौलवीज और प्रीस्ट को मंथली सैलरीज दे रहे हो. आपने इंटरेस्ट फ्री लोन्स दे रखे हैं वक्फ लैंड पे सेटअप करने के लिए. आपने इतनी सारी स्कीम्स लगाई हुई हैं जो कि रिलीजन के बेसिस पे हैं, और आप कह रहे हो कि हम सेकुलर हैं. या तो वो हटाइए, या फिर मॉस्क और चर्चेस को स्टेट के कंट्रोल में लाइए, सेकुलर करिए. तो ना सर ना पैर, दे कैन से व्हाटएवर दे वांट. एंड वन थिंग ही इज अगेन रॉन्ग. India has never been more socialist than it is right now, unfortunately.
I agree with you on that, and I think it's actually a good thing, because I'm all for welfare. Tehseen, how do you look at Akhilesh Yadav's countering of the Prime Minister today, saying that the path of the RSS is neither secular nor socialist? In fact, he's also said that they're not even Swadeshi at heart.
Can I say something? This is where the liberals brand me a Sanghi. But honestly, India is at a cusp where if we don't get out of what is going on by all political parties, including the present government, this under the garb of welfarism, we're giving scooties to people, we're wasting resources that you and I pay tax for, we are not doing tax reforms. This brand of socialism, this is not socialism, this is worse than socialism, it'll take India down. If what the Prime Minister said in his 103-minute speech, which is a record-breaking speech, we really want India to be a superpower, the reform has to come from within, and part of that will have to be allowing entrepreneurship and getting off. This is a government that wants to run a cab service. This is a government that right now wants to run a cab service. This is a government that on private airports wants to have food stalls. Government should not be in business. This is a government that is not, except for Air India, has not privatized anything. This is a government that wants to control everything. We need less of government. Even the jet engine program wants to be controlled by the government rather than private entrepreneurship. This is the level of control, and we need socialism to completely disappear in this form. We need welfarism. What is welfarism? Every Indian should get the same high quality education, irrespective of where he or she is born. Every Indian should get the same high quality healthcare, irrespective of where he or she is born. If I want to go to a private hospital and Anand chooses to go to a government hospital, the treatment should be absolutely the same for both of us. There should be no difference in the treatment. The choice should be of the person where he wants to go. The government is obliged to do that and nothing more. And food should be protein.
Okay, Dr. Ranganathan, I disagree with him because, when it comes to income support for women, or for that matter, free bus travel, and these are things that even the Congress is offering and BJP is offering, I think it's really worked wonders for improving mobility for women. Do you agree with the fact that the Prime Minister also stressed a lot on social justice and saturation of welfare schemes today?
So, as I said, India needs to be a welfare state.
Yes.
But Tehseen, my Sanghi friend Tehseen, is absolutely right. Welfarism is different from freebiesm. And there are various examples of that. Reverting to the old pension scheme is one of the biggest freebies you can think of. In fact, Revdi, people associate this freebism, Revdi, as being coined by Narendra Modi. It's not. It was coined by Montague Singh Ahluwalia of the Congress, who said Himachal will go bankrupt if it reverts to the old, and that is exactly what has happened. So Tehseen is right there. But again, I want to say this. In this, the Prime Minister is blessed, because his inaction on removing India from the clutches or talons of socialism is supported by the Congress party. Each and everything that Tehseen said should not be done, if it is not done, the first party to come onto the streets would be the Congress party led by Rahul Gandhi. कि आपने PSU banks को आप privatize क्यों कर दिया, privatization क्यों ला रहे हैं? It's a miracle he did not say anything on the privatization of Air India. And God exists, because trust me, Air India got privatized. But this is the problem in this country. Any good step you want to take, the opposition is against you. I don't even want to go to the farm laws. The 3 farm laws verbatim. Point number 11, point number 19 were in the 2019 Congress election manifesto.
Right.
Modi would have thought this is the easiest reforms to bring, because I'm not doing it, the opposition demanded it.
Okay.
Little did he know.
But
the moment he brought them, all hell broke loose.
But Dr. Ranganathan, I do feel that governance has become trial and error, because the new committee that has been announced for task force, the task force for reforms, I think that is also one way of the government acknowledging that some of its initiatives have not really worked. And like Abhijit has also been pointing out, that bureaucracy needs to be held accountable, and probably this task force will be able to do that. I'm optimistic about it. But yeah, going on to the other important political point that the Prime Minister made today, Prime Minister has warned against infiltrators today. He has flagged the threat that comes from infiltrators. He has said that this is a conspiracy to change the demography of India. He's particularly talked about the rights and welfare of tribal communities, saying that their land is being snatched. And he has also said that there will be a demographic mission that will be put in place, which will look at protecting the rights of all citizens. And he has also said that he will not give the country away to intruders. Let's listen into what the Prime Minister said.
षड्यंत्र के तहत, सोची समझी साजिश के तहत देश की डेमोग्राफी को बदला जा रहा है। एक नए संकट के बीज बोए जा रहे हैं। एक घुसपैठिए मेरे देश की बहन बेटियों को निशाना बना रहे हैं। ये बर्दाश्त नहीं होगा। ये घुसपैठिए भोले भाले आदिवासियों को भ्रमित करके उनकी जमीनों पर कब्जा कर रहे हैं। ये देश सहन नहीं करेगा। और इसलिए मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, जब डेमोग्राफी परिवर्तन होता है, सीमावर्ती क्षेत्रों में डेमोग्राफी में परिवर्तन होता है, तब राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा के लिए संकट पैदा होता है। देश की एकता, अखंडितता और प्रगति के लिए ये संकट पैदा, सामाजिक तनाव के बीज बो देता है। और कोई देश अपना देश घुसपैठियों के हवाले नहीं कर सकता है। दुनिया का कोई देश नहीं कर सकता है, तो हम भारत को कैसे कर सकते हैं? हमारे पूर्वजों ने त्याग और बलिदान से आजादी पाई है, हमें स्वतंत्र भारत दिया है, उन महापुरुषों के प्रति हमारा कर्तव्य है कि हम हमारे देश में ऐसी हरकतों को स्वीकार न करें। उनकी सच्ची श्रद्धांजलि होगी। और इसलिए मैं आज लाल किले की प्राचीर से कहना चाहता हूं, हमने एक हाई पावर्ड डेमोग्राफी मिशन शुरू करने का निर्णय किया है। ये मिशन, इस मिशन के द्वारा ये जो भीषण संकट नजर आ रहा है, भारत पे मंडरा रहा है जो संकट है, उसको निपटाने के लिए तय समय में सुविचारित सुनिश्चित रूप से अपने कार्य को करेगा। उस दिशा में हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
Marshal Kapoor, how do you look at the Prime Minister insisting so much on national security? He has announced two important missions today. One, of course, is the Sudarshan Chakra mission, which will basically ensure that there's a shield, there's a kavach to protect all public infrastructure. And then, of course, there is this threat of infiltration, and he's saying that there is a new demographic mission that will be initiated, which will look at ways to ensure that tribal lands are not snatched away.
See, the two ongoing conflicts globally, one is the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which is over 3.5 years old now, and the conflict which began in Middle East between Israel and Hamas on October 23 is still ongoing. And both, when these conflicts began, everybody thought that they'll get over in no time, seeing the power of Israel and Russia. But a new paradigm has come into our security, wherein more and more variations are coming each day. Like Abhijit mentions about the drones, just one example: use of missiles, use of space, use of other means. So I'm sure, I do not know the complete details about national security, but I'm sure somewhere the integration of all these ministries and this Kartavya Path, these Kartavya Bhavans which are being made, I'm sure would be integrated in real time to communicate a picture, and like we have in our ops room or ISCCS, the complete battle picture. I'm sure similar kind of a situation about the national security grid would be put at all these places, because today's security is not only the physical security, it encompasses everything. So that's my take.
Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
So first of all, I congratulate the Prime Minister for making this discussion at least come out in the public domain. I would say, next to our external threats, this is the most pressing problem in the country, because this is threatening to change the country irreversibly.
But Dr. Ranganathan, today he spoke about Naxalism, and in the same breath he spoke about the demographic change.
Yes.
So I was wondering, we saw the Jharkhand elections.
Yes.
This is the same theory that did not work for the BJP, but clearly this is an ideological point, and this is something that is closely linked to their governance as well.
Absolutely, and this has nothing to do with party or whether it worked for BJP or not. Please remember that the PIL that was filed in Jharkhand for Ghusbatiyas was filed by a Christian. It's got nothing to do with Hindutva, Hindu ideology, BJP, Congress. It is for protecting this country. और अब मैं यहाँ पे कहना चाहता हूँ कि कथनी और करनी में बहुत फर्क है. Because 11 years ago, it was Shashi Tharoor in his book, I think Pax Indica, who said that there are 20 million illegal Bangladeshis. And people criticize Amit Shah for taking the analogy of termites. He said that they have escaped and gone into the woodwork, basically insinuating that those 20 million Bangladeshis are termites. This is Congressman Shashi Tharoor saying. पिछले 11 साल में वर्किंग पेपर, आप मुझे वाइट पेपर बताइए, कितने इन्फिल्ट्रेटर्स आपने बाहर भेजे हैं देश से? सबसे पहले आपको ये करना चाहिए. दूसरा, व्हेन यू टॉक ऑफ डेमोग्राफी, प्लीज डोंट वरी अबाउट डेमोग्राफी चेंज एज मच एज यू शुड वरी अबाउट द डेमोग्राफी शिफ्ट, विच इज स्केरियर देन द चेंज. चेंज तो हो रहा है, TFR कम आ रहा है, बढ़ रहा है, वो अलग बात है, पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीजिंग. बट यू लुक एट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, द वैल्यू ऑफ कश्मीर. इट इज नॉट डेमोग्राफी दैट has led to all the problem. It is demography shift. When you have 500,000 Hindus suddenly being exiled from there and not able to return for 33 years, That's the shift you're talking about. You talk about places like Kerala that had 40% Muslim population, now it's 97% Muslim.
So the exodus you're talking about, not really the TFR which has stabilized.
Yes, so it's the shift that is more pressing.
Vasudha.
And when the BJP takes the excuse of कि ममता दीदी हमें जो है वो BFS को land नहीं दे रही हैं, come on. Who is really in charge of this country?
Vasudha.
Do we think
Right.
Mamta
Tehseen
ji
wants
saying
to
no?
come in. Tehseen, yeah, quickly.
You know, I find this astounding that the BJP keeps making this point. You rightly said they did it in Jharkhand, it didn't pay off. This is a matter about political parties. I mean, you can't have infiltrators in this country. We need to smash them out, particularly, and I'm being very clear, those from Bangladesh, because Bangladesh is radicalized like never before. I was in Singapore, Malaysia, and it's scary to see what Bangladesh is doing, okay? But let's look at data, parliamentary data. How many did the UPA remove? 80,000. You know how many did this government remove? 1,700 Bangladeshis. 17. That's the data, parliamentary. Number two, if you have, and the most honorable Home Minister the other day in Bihar said, illegal immigrants are voting in Bihar. He said this verbatim, right? So if Bangladeshis are coming to Bihar and voting, who's responsible for the last 12 years? How are they on your electoral rolls? Or is it they're saying that they didn't vote in 24, they've come in the last 1 year, that the Honorable Home Minister is saying? Look, you can't have it both ways. If there is one person illegal, he needs to be thrown out with the force that is never seen before, particularly in a radicalized nation force. What are we doing?
Okay.
You're doing politics over it, you're attacking and you're trying to make it a political agenda.
Okay, there's some breaking news now, but before that, quickly.
They are guarding the borders. They are responsible.
Okay. Well, the Prime Minister has also unveiled a 3-pillar GST strategy for the country. He has said that next generation GST reforms are on way. He has unveiled the blueprint for this while speaking at the Red Fort today. And he has also said that next generation GST reforms are going to be announced. The Finance Ministry has also put out a plan now. And the focus is on rate cuts and also ease of living. And the move is towards a 2-slab GST, something that was going to come, was expected. Finance Ministry has also put out a plan, a strategy now. And let's listen into what the Prime Minister said today.
इस दिवाली में आपकी डबल दिवाली का काम मैं करने वाला हूं। इस दिवाली में आपको एक बहुत बड़ा तोहफा देशवासियों को मिलने वाला है। पिछले 8 साल से हमने जीएसटी का बहुत बड़ा रिफॉर्म किया। पूरे देश में टैक्स के बर्डन को कम किया, टैक्स की व्यवस्थाओं को सरल किया और 8 साल के बाद समय की मांग है कि हम एक बार उसको रिव्यू करें। हमने एक हाई पावर कमेटी को बिठा करके रिव्यू शुरू किया, राज्यों से भी विचार विमर्श किया और मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, हम नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स लेकर के आ रहे हैं। ये दिवाली के अंदर आपके लिए तोहफा बन जाएंगे। सामान्य मानवीय की जरूरतों के टैक्स भारी मात्रा में कम कर दिए जाएंगे। बहुत बड़ी सुविधा बढ़ेगी। हमारे एमएसएमई, हमारे लघु उद्यमी, इनको बहुत बड़ा लाभ मिलेगा। रोजमर्रा की चीजें बहुत सस्ती हो जाएगी और उससे इकोनॉमी को भी एक नया बल मिलने वाला है।
Shimi Chaudhary of NDTV Profit joins us now. Shimi, what has been the update from the Finance Ministry? Clearly some follow-up to what the Prime Minister announced today.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, the Finance Ministry has put out the blueprint following the Prime Minister Modi's Independence Day address. And in fact, it's proposing a simplified 2-slab GST structure as part of its next generation reform, which is GST 2.0. What Finance Ministry is saying that they are going to create a more streamlined and predictable tax regime. And in fact, the proposed model would consist of standard rate and a merit rate with special rate reserved for a limited set of items is what Finance Ministry proposing at this point. Now, this is expected to, of course, reduce complexity, enhance compliance and support consumption. And of course, government has been working on the various measures to boost consumption, which is a pain point, and we have seen in the first quarter the fiscal as well. And in fact, 2-slab structure is a part of broader 3-pillar reform framework is what Centre has shared officially now saying that we are focusing on structural correction, rate rationalization, as well as ease of living and doing business. In fact, in the reform roadmap, in fact, they have sent to GM, the group of ministers set forth to review the whole rate rationalization process. The government said that it has submitted the reform plan to GM for review, and in fact, Council is expected, which is meeting next month, that is in September, to deliberate on all the proposal of rate rationalization in its upcoming meeting. And in fact, Finance Ministry here also highlighting that the kind of initiative government has taken in cooperative federalism, and the center is kind of committed to building consensus with states over the coming weeks.
Right. Thank you, Shimi, for joining us with those details. The Finance Ministry putting out its plan for the GST slabs, a new plan that has been announced by the Prime Minister today morning while he delivered his Independence Day speech. While all of this is happening, the President of the country, Draupadi Murmu, is at the War Memorial now, and she's paying her tributes to martyrs and fallen soldiers. She's at the War Memorial, and this is part of the tradition that she follows on Independence Day. In fact, there's also going to be an at-home reception that she hosts today evening. Now, she is at the War Memorial paying respects to the martyrs of 1971 war.